Joining us now from Washington, D.C. with a look at Axios AM, editor-in-chief for Axios, Nicholas Johnson. Nicholas, great to have you with us. What is the one big thing for this Monday morning?
Yeah, today's one big thing is the Trump administration plan for after Hell Week. Trump had a really bad week last week with all the brewing things of Turkey and impeachment. And we're getting a sense of how the Trump administration will probably respond to that and how to try and right the ship. The key element here is to try and assuage nervous Senate Republicans. Three key things to look at for that kind of plan. First, there was the announcement on Friday, the tentative trade deal with China, that the phase one, the so-called trade, putting off tariffs for a little while and opening up the road for more possible agriculture purchases. Markets really loved that. Stock markets were up on Friday. That put a lot of calm sort of to the markets in the financial world. Also, over the weekend, Trump signaled that he's probably going to accede to a congressional request to put sanctions on Turkey involved to what they're doing now. Sort of like the Senate going to have a veto-proof majority for that. So that's probably Trump sort of bending to the will of members of Congress. And then finally, over the weekend, Trump announced a plan to send more troops to Saudi Arabia. That's to stand up against possible aggression by Iran. I think the key thing to look at in all of this, the audience that Trump is looking to, is Senate Republicans. As my colleague Mike Allen wrote over the weekend, it's almost certain that House Democrats will impeach the president. So it's Senate Republicans who have to stand together to overturn that and not vote forward with conviction. A lot of Senate Republicans are very nervous about some of the things that have been happening recently, particularly being blindsided over the Turkey decision that Trump made. And so look at these kind of steps trying to assuage Senate Republicans who are back in town now. With Congress back in session, are going to face a lot of heat from reporters wandering the halls of the Capitol.
There was lots of possibles and tentatives. Tentative trade deal, possible sanctions on Turkey. So obviously seeing what's going to take place this week. But how is the White House, Nick, going to keep this momentum of these stabilizing moves going?
I mean, I think that's exactly right, that they're all sort of tentative. None of these things are sure deals. I mean, a lot of the Republicans that we've been talking to are sense that the White House had sort of lost its footing recently as the impeachment threats heat up, the miscalled on the Turkey situation with now the scandals surrounding that and the blowback from Republicans. They really need to get some kind of sense of sort of regaining their footing and trying to do this. And so, of course, the tentative China deal is a step in that direction. But exactly, you're right. These are things that are just being kicked down the can a little bit. There are China headlines moving just as I walked in here saying that China wanted more talks before they signed any of these pieces of the phase one deal. And of course, the Senate is going to move forward with these kind of Turkey sanctions because there's such overwhelming support for it. So these are not things that Trump has been able to sort of sign, sealed, and delivered at all. And so it doesn't sort of calm things completely, but it does hopefully I think in their mind, buy them time with Senate Republicans to show they've got a little bit of righting the ship.
Well, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about a general election matchup that you guys have some new reporting about in terms of whether or not President Trump would rather face a banged-up Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren. What have you guys learned?
Yeah, Trump campaign officials are telling us they'd still rather go up against Elizabeth Warren. This is reporting that we're doing in light of Elizabeth Warren's recent surge in the polls. She's out ahead of Joe Biden in some of these polls. She's had a gangbuster set of fundraising. She's almost as much as Bernie Sanders now, and a lot of people are talking about her as a possible nominee. Well, Trump folks that we talked to are saying, great, sounds awesome. We would love to go up against Elizabeth Warren. Some of the things that they're looking for are that her likability issues. These are things that we've come up in the focus groups we've done before, where a lot of voters we speak to just don't really feel comfortable with her as president, don't like her enough, like her as much. Trump campaign officials tell us that's something they're very much focusing on, and they think that when we get to a general election, her more left-wing positions will probably drag her down. So they're far more open to running against her in those positions. They still very much fear Joe Biden. They view him as a safe choice for voters and a much stronger general election candidate.
All right, Nicholas Johnson, live for us in
Nick.
Washington, D.C. It was a pleasure. Of course, we're going to be reading Axios AM in just a bit. All of our viewers out there, don't forget, you too can sign up for that newsletter. You don't want to miss it. Sign up at Axios.com.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.